The world saw the mansion, the luxury, the last name that opened every door. But behind the wealth, behind the Hollywood legacy, there was a twist no one expected. And honestly, it wasn't the fame that shocked people, it was what came after. Because when Tori Spelling's inheritance story finally came into focus, it didn't feel like a fairy tale. It felt complicated. In many ways, Tori Spelling was born into a world most people could only imagine. The daughter of Aaron Spelling, one of the most powerful producers in television history, she grew up surrounded by sets, scripts, and success. This wasn't just access. It was immersion. Hollywood wasn't a dream for her. It was home. Her breakthrough came with Beverly Hills, 90210. A cultural phenomenon. A defining show of the 90s. And Tori, playing Donna Martin, became instantly recognizable. But what makes this story different is how people viewed her rise. Many believed her last name played a role. Others argued she had to work twice as hard to prove she belonged. And honestly, that tension never really disappeared. Behind the scenes, her relationship with her father was often described as complex. Supportive, yet demanding. Protective, yet distant. And while the public saw success, those closer to the story reportedly saw pressure. Expectations that came not just from the industry, but from legacy itself. Then came the moment that changed everything. The passing of Aaron Spelling. It wasn't just the loss of a father. It was the loss of a dynasty. A fortune estimated in the hundreds of millions. Naturally, the world assumed Tori would inherit a massive share. It seemed inevitable. But here's what most people don't realize. That's not what happened. When the details of the inheritance emerged, the reaction was immediate. Confusion. Speculation. Reports suggested that Tori received only a fraction of what people expected. In many ways, it felt like a twist no one saw coming. And suddenly, the narrative shifted from privilege to something far more complicated. Honestly, this is where the story takes a different turn. Because life after that moment didn't follow the script people imagined. Financial struggles began to surface. Headlines questioned her spending. Interviews hinted at tension, particularly with her mother, Candy Spelling. And while the public debated the numbers, something deeper was unfolding. Identity. In many ways, Tori Spelling wasn't just dealing with money. She was dealing with perception. The pressure of living up to a name. The challenge of defining herself outside of it. There were moments, quiet, personal, where her life seemed to shift. Reality television appearances. Attempts to rebuild. Efforts to reconnect with an audience that had once known her as a scripted character. But now, the story was real. And not always easy. But here's the part people often overlook. Resilience doesn't always look glamorous. Years passed. The noise settled. And while the headlines never fully disappeared, something changed. Tori began to embrace her story, not as a perfect narrative, but as an honest one. Flawed. Human. Ongoing. Today, she remains a figure people still talk about. Not just because of where she came from, but because of what she's been through. The contrast between expectation and reality has, in many ways, become her defining arc. And maybe that's the real story here. Not the size of the inheritance, but the weight of it. Because sometimes, what we don't receive shapes us just as much as what we do. So what do you think? Was it a misunderstood decision, or something deeper within a complicated family dynamic? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy cinematic stories like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more.